Hello everyone, Coach here once more, and today we'll be making a set of pine trees. Coming from the cherry trees we just did, this was actually quite easier and faster to make because I learned from all the mishaps we've done on the other tree. And that including the fact I'm also recording on my proper microphone this time. As on the editing of the other video, I just recorded it with my webcam microphone, which the audio is just ass. With that aside, we can start actually talking about the tree. So what made me start making this tree was that I was just inspired all of a sudden to make this tree. Coming from the cherry tree, I did spend way too much time just doing minor tweaks and boring things that just made me so just annoyed. It was kind of the when things don't go right your way. But for some reason I just changed my mind all of a sudden. When I was working in the actual map work inside the Hammer editor, I was looking at the references to do a certain area, and I saw these pine trees along the shoreline of the lake the city is on. And I don't know, they just looked cool. The way the wind affected their growth and their branches and how they looked. I don't know, it just made me, oh, I want to make this right now. Usually that doesn't happen often to me. When I get to work on things, I just kind of know, oh, I need to work on something. I open the file, I look around, look at the references, and then if I find something that, oh, I should do this, I need to do this. And then I don't think much and I start working on things. Um, this time, actually, I was inspired. For some reason, I wanted to make this tree, as I've said. So that made me just go 180 from hating the end result, I mean, not the end result, the process of making the cherry tree, to just wanting to make another tree again. But what actually incentivized me to have this thought probably was that it was a pine. I've done pines before for Palacio as well, and pines, at least in my experience, are considerably easier to make. They are just way simpler. You have like kind of a single trunk and then just branches going off of it in different sort of patterns. But usually it's quite more standardized, you could say, compared to other trees, such as the cherry tree we did. That incentivized me to just start working on this, together with the fact I thought I probably learned all of the bad things I was doing or the mistakes I have done on the cherry tree. I also was coming from that tree kind of warmed up with the momentum. We've talked about momentum on the first video of the series of just working on things, and I feel like momentum really does change things. So I had already done the tree, I learned from the mistakes of it. It is a pine tree, so all of that together with the fact that the tree looks pretty cool made me just go, let's make this tree, why not, right? So that was about it. The process was kind of repeated from the other tree. I had the Google Maps reference I already shown, and from that I put it into an AI clinker. I asked, which tree is this? And then he said, oh, it's this tree. Then I went to search for the tree, and it looked nowhere near at like the tree I wanted to make. So then the AI clinker said it wasn't a pine because I suggested, could you find out which pine is this? And he said, it's not a pine. But I'm sure it was a pine because of the leaves, right? So then I sent another picture, and then he confirmed it was actually another tree, which then after searching it, it made sense, it looked similar. So basically it helped me to find the species again. It wasn't the first attempt that resulted the right thing compared to the cherry tree, which gave me the first result was the right one. This time I actually had to do another iteration, and it gave me the right thing. So it was helpful still. But then, okay, I had the references of the actual tree, more references than the Google Maps, but it proved to be a bit helpful. And then I opened the file of the pine tree I have done for Palacio. As I said, pines tend to be quite similar, so I had the structure kind of already built for that pine, and then I just kind of had to tweak things, the leaves and the branches, kind of trying to replicate what we had on mine references. But now it's kind of the same process as you've seen me doing on the cherry tree. I've done it all in treat, and this time I didn't actually have to tweak the leaves normals because the leaves normals that the treat gave me was good enough for me. I felt that it worked for what I wanted. And they worked specifically because these trees would be used mostly on the exterior parts of the map, not inside the playable bounds of the level. So because of that, the tree would be mostly seen from the sides, not from below, not from above really. So the normals just kind of had to point towards the outside of the tree, like to the sides, and that's what the actual leaves I could get in tree it already gave me. So I didn't have to do the trick I done on the cherry tree of transferring the sphere normals to the leaves. So it was actually an easier process. I just made the tree inside the tree. The end result, I just exported it straight up to the source engine editor, the Hammer editor. Coming from the mistakes of the other tree, I spent some extra time just tweaking the branches, making sure they would support the leaf structure I wanted, and it ended up being quite straightforward. One thing that was actually probably the single problem I faced on this tree was regarding the leaves. I first started doing the leaves with the regular cards that the tree provided. Was kind of simple, just squares with some divisions, but nothing much to it. And then I tried to do a leaf cutout, which I have done for the cherry tree. The cherry tree was the first tree I actually did that for, but I was looking at a speed tree tutorial, not a tree tutorial, and I saw that, oh, if they did the cutout of the leaves, they would follow more the gravity. It would make more sense, right? So for this tree, since it was quite affected by the wind, it looked quite shaky or affected by the gravity as well. I wanted to try the cutout here as well. And I did the cutout, and it didn't work that well with the settings, the options that Treat gave me to control them. So I kinda gave up on that because I thought the regular leaves I was using before actually worked decently enough. So probably if I had spent more time with the cutout leaves trying to tweak them, it would probably work better as the end result, but I spent way too much time on that and it didn't give me anything interesting or good enough, and the default leaves actually worked for what I thought, what I needed. So I kind of just gave up on that, went back to the regular leaves, and they don't look as great if you look up close. Slimek, he's on the team now, as I've said on the other video. He said that the leaves at the end they kind of bend weirdly enough, but I don't think I care enough on the end result because again I've said it's not really placed near the playable space. But if it ends up being a problem in the end, I might just tweak it. But that was kind of the main problem I faced with this tree, the only one regarding the leaves. And that was kind of about it. Overall, the tree was easy to make, as I said a few times now, but because of that, I wanted to make a few variations of it. Since one was quite fast to make, oh, why not make others, right? Since I would be using a few more of those than probably the cherry trees, I did want to make a few variations. And it was also quite fun. Once you have the tree figured out, the structure, everything, you creating variations is just cool because you're kind of just playing with a toy, you could say. So it was especially fun because I had to do these windswept variations, the ones more affected by wind, and you can see it on when the background of treat goes orange because I use a setting on treat that is follow sunlight or something like that, and then the tree bends itself to follow the light orientation. So because of that, I wanted the trees to bend towards the wind direction, and by putting the sunset, they would just follow out to the one side, creating the effect I wanted. That was especially fun and quite fast to make. So I did overall 6 trees in probably way faster time than the cherry tree. Probably not the same quality extent, but it would work well enough for what I wanted. So now that I've covered the actual process regarding making these trees inside Treat, I'm gonna comment more casually about the software itself, as I've received a comment regarding the software. I think specifically about learning it. I've mentioned it probably on the other video that this software doesn't have much tutorials available. It's kind of a thing you learn just messing around. It seems a bit confusing because it's just so many variables in a single drop-down list you do. But in my experience, that didn't prove to be that annoying of a challenge. I think you could say about 30, 20 hours, maybe 40 hours is all you need in this software, just messing around to get how it kind of works. You make a few trees with that time, and then you can probably learn it way faster than me. Because again, I've said that I just kind of don't do things right. I do the mistakes first and then I correct them. But I guess with my hints here, and maybe if you search more, you already are more experienced regarding trees, that should make your experience learning the software faster. Because it really is just a kind of a few parameters. It's simple, but at the same time, it's quite a lot of parameters, variables. But it's quite straightforward if you just mess around enough. And that time frame is, I think, the enough you probably need to do before you actually get the hang of the software and start making trees, kind of knowing what you're doing, what each parameter does, and starting to have more fun while at it. So because of that, I do recommend the software. I think this barrier of 30 hours around that is not that much if you're not paying the same amount that you would be for a speed tree, together with the fact that you're just kind of making trees casually. Regarding again time constraints, because I'm also making a huge project alongside these videos, I will not be making tutorials on it, but I hope that these two videos I'm doing on trees, should be well enough for you to at least get a baseline of how this software works, at least if you want to try it or not, if it helps you on that, or if you're just curious. But I think that's about it now. So with all the trees done and exported, regarding their texture, I just used the library textures that Treat provided. I then used Substance Designer to do a few tweaks on them, like color, saturation, minor things. And then the work on my end was done. Now, repeating the same thing from the other tree, I had Slimek use his geometry nodes on inside Blender to just reassign the vertex colors of all the trees I've made, so they worked properly with the CS2 Windswept system. That, and the fact that it also controls the ambient occlusion of the model. This is something I forgot to mention on the other tree video, but I think the alpha channel of the vertex colors controls the ambient occlusion inside Source 2. So that is one very helpful thing on the tree that makes it be shaded way more accurately, you could say. So that's all there is to these trees. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and thanks for sticking this long. And now I'm gonna just be showing the end results. Goodbye.